Whereas if you were to do street photography really confidently, no one's going to question you, your profession.
3, 2, 1. Can I have you with your back against the...
Jay thinks he's found the perfect group for his shot, but he's also new to approaching people in the street.
Loads of ice cream around your face. Sorry, what was your name again? Connor. Are you sure you don't want to, Connor? It's just a photograph.
What? Can I get a photograph?
No. All right. Okay, brilliant. Could I just have Connor and Aidan on the right?
Good work comes from a connection. It's when the photographer sees a subject and you have a sort of passion and a moment of connection. So this sort of magical element where it all comes together can appear and manifest itself.
Aaron's big concept is to comment on Brighton's drug scene. First step, rummage through the local skip.
Then I need a length of wood, excuse me.
Yeah.
This wood's for making a sign today. I plan on making like a really comical image, but to make it so I need to sort of add a really obvious element into it, but make it really twisted and bleak. Shall we go back along the front then? I can super do these together.
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay, cool, let's do it.
Armed with just a tube of glue and some scrap wood, things soon start to fall apart.
Oh no!
Aaron, it's all right, don't panic.
This is a lot different from the way I work because I really like to take the time to consider my work. If a photograph doesn't work one day, I generally sort of go home, have a bit of a lie down and approach it again the next day. If the prop isn't the one I need, or if it's not the right size, the right colour, the right shape, anything.
Aaron's determined to get his message across with a provocative slogan.
I use that phrase simply because I think it's what a lot of people think when they sort of walk past maybe some homeless people or street performers, is that they're probably dancing because of their addiction to crack, so they can fuel their crack needs.
With his sign in pieces, Aaron decides to shoot it separately, planning to add it in later using Photoshop on his computer.
I'll get the people to pose as if the sign was there.
Okay, yeah.
And then just put the sign in afterwards and just colour match
Okay.
tempo.
Now he just needs to find some subjects.
Hi.
Hi.
You alright?
Yeah.
I was wondering if I could take your photograph, all of you. Are you the parent or guardian of some of these children?
Yeah.
The children.
Oh, yeah.
If you could sort of dance for me, is that alright, yeah? Maybe jump up and down a bit. Admittingly, it was a slight unethical approach to photograph a family in that sort of manner. But because of like the scenario that I was in, I had to Photoshop it in. I mean, I do regret it, but I got the image and I think it still makes the statement that I want it to make, so I think that's what's important.
On the seafront, Carolyn's found 4 subjects willing to act as statues.
So I'm going to kind of pose you very neutrally standing towards the sea. Thank you.
But she's struggling to cope with the conditions.
I'm not the most coordinated of people. Let's have a look. Could I start with you? Could you legs slightly together? just looking really neutrally. Okay, you, Hamilton. That's fab. That's brilliant. Could you look really, really hacked off now? Hold him down and look at me with. Hold on. Okay, and jump. Yeah, good luck, all of you. Bye! I think my lens got wet and I couldn't do the jumping shot because I couldn't work out how to get the exposure working, and I've overexposed some. I really, really hope that I've got, 3 good photos there. They were brilliant. I hope for them that I've got 3 good photos.
After a week of assignments, it's the day of reckoning. To decide who stays and who goes, the judges will be looking to see which photographers have the potential to produce work worthy of a solo exhibition and a book.
The prize of an exhibition in a very well-known and recognised gallery in the UK and a book are the 2 things, if you like, that all photographers are trying to achieve.
It's usually at this stage of their career that they'll be lugging their portfolios around photography festivals and showing it to curators. So to have the opportunity to have a public exhibition and a book published at the same time is an enormous asset to their future career.
The 6 finalists will present an image from each of the 3 assignments to impress the judges.
Even if they don't like my work, for my work to be looked at by the people of the calibre of the judges is just completely amazing.
I think I should stay because I think my images are good. But then I don't know sort of how good they are compared to other people's.
I don't have a photography degree. I've not had my work critiqued professionally. It will be interesting to see at this point in my career where I need to go based on the judges' feedback. They have made people, they have broken people.
My confidence has increased tenfold by doing this thing that frightened me so much. And I want to keep going with that.
Today, 2 photographers will be told that they're out of the competition. The first to be critiqued is Liz.
You again.
She's chosen her bondage bench portrait of Ed, a cryogenically frozen Germaine Greer, and her shot of restaurant workers in Brighton.
So was the rain good news or bad news for you?
In terms of this shot, it was good news. It kind of made it a little bit interesting. You know, life still goes on. At the time, I thought it was a nightmare.
But important, I don't think it's far off.
No.
You know, I think, you know, you're not far away from that being a good, solid photograph. Now, I'm being pulled towards this in the middle, which I can see Sunday Times magazine written across the top, and I can see that being used as a front cover.
It's iconic, isn't it?
It definitely.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I personally love it, but I think it's a good, solid commercial piece of work, and that could easily be on the left spread on a double-page article on Germaine Greer.
So Liz, can you tell me why you felt you had to tie Ed up here rather than just have a simple, straightforward portrait?
I'm happy to admit that this particular image is sort of my idea projected onto him. I'm using him as an actor.
So it could have been anyone, in fact, rather than just Ed?
Yes, it could be, yeah.
Hi, Aaron.
Aaron's presenting a domesticated Germaine Greer. His retouched image commenting on Brighton's drug scene. And Carolyn on her hands and knees.
You know, it's usually a woman shooting a work like this, so I am surprised that you chose this angle and this subject.
Pleasantly surprised?
Pleasantly surprised, yes.
But the judges think Aaron's Brighton image is overdone.
I admit it's a bit of a gag rather than a subtle joke or comment.
It's just too much. You're piling it on too much. If you'd have held back, the joke would have been, the pun would have just come across so much better.
Okay.
And they're also unsure about his portrait of Germaine.
I think the ideas are fundamentally very good, but I think the execution of the person's expression is the thing that's letting you down here. Had she been looking straight at you, it could have been more successful.
Ed appears to have sailed through the assignments and has decided on Germaine's rant, Liz in the Rose Garden, and a rain-soaked Brighton beach.
The actual smiling and laughter feels convincing and actually works. Do you agree with me there?
Yeah. I mean, the thing for me as a portrait is always very much about the person I'm photographing. I don't really consider myself that interesting. That's why I do documentary.
But Alex thinks that Ed's portrait of Liz lacks originality.
At the moment, you know, if you read a lot of magazines like Dazed and Confused, Vice magazine, etc., this style of photography is, in the fashion shoots, very prevalent. And that might be the only comment I'd have, is I see a lot of photography.
Well, I assure you probably tell by looking at me, I don't read many fashion magazines, so...
But on a serious note, you probably need to, because this photograph is very, very popular, this style of photography right now, amongst perhaps photographers of your generation.
And Martin thinks Ed's played it too safe with his Germaine image.
Now is the time really to sort of push yourself and do something different. I mean, I think you need to learn by trying and experimenting more, because you're a bit safe. You've got a nice sort of technique, you're settled down, but I think we really want to push you and see what you can do and see how you can develop.
Hi, Lucinda.
Lucinda's showing Germaine going firefly hunting, Jay pretending to be her, and an image from the storm-battered beach.
I think it's working, but I think it could be even better if the dog had just been moved along. I mean, I don't mean to be too critical. It's just when I see this, I think, oh, if only she just moved it along.
Lucinda's portrait of Jay is closer to her usual style.
I'm not sure I like the lighting, and I just wanted to know why you'd lit it like that, so I understand.
I think it's a reference to the fact that it is a constructed image and that my photography is staged.
I don't have a problem with the lighting. I think it suits that. I mean, the one word that comes to me is melancholy, and that's a rather difficult thing to try and handle in terms of a photograph, and that comes through very well. I think the lighting actually adds to that, so I think it's working here.
But the judges are confused by the firefly portrait of Germaine.
And here was I thinking that she was the lady from the Harry Potter film. I see, it's to do with bug life.
To do with bug life, yeah. I just thought it would put it into a context.